Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about a very important Latin and Greek root word that might help you in your English. I think it is super important to understand a lot of Latin and Greek roots because we use so many of them in English. And if you know a few of the words around something you're reading or something you're listening to, when you come to a new word that has a Latin and Greek root, you might be able to figure out what that word means, even if you've never seen it before. Today's lesson will definitely focus on the Latin and Greek root spect, but it's going to be hard to talk about some of these words without mentioning a couple other Latin and Greek roots that might help you figure out words you've never seen before. The first word I'd like to talk about is circumspect, and this actually is made up of two Latin and Greek roots. The first one, spect, which all of our words will have, that always has something to do with looking. Spect, circumspect. So definitely something to do with looking here, but circum also means around. So circumspect literally means to look around. If you've ever heard the English word circumference, that means measuring the distance around a circle. So circumspect means to look around. Maybe you've lost your phone in your bedroom. So you have to circumspect the room, try to find it. Maybe there's a crime scene. Maybe someone has been murdered. The detectives will circumspect the area looking for evidence. And if you would like to practice any of these words, there is a link to a Quizlet that I've made that has all 11 of these words. Word number 2 is a verb, inspect, meaning to look closely at. So maybe those detectives, they're circumspecting the area, but maybe if they focus on one area that might have more evidence than the other, they will choose that area to inspect. They will focus on that area to look at. Let's go back to that phone you lost. Well, maybe you found it, but the screen is cracked. Oh no, maybe it dropped or something. You would inspect your phone, look at it closely to see if maybe you can fix it. Maybe it's only the screen protector that has been damaged. You can get another one easily. If it's the phone itself, it might be a little bit more difficult to fix. The next word having to do with spect is introspect or introspection. Intro. Think of it as like inner, inside. Introspect means to look at yourself, to evaluate, to think of how you've been acting lately. Maybe in your life, people have been saying that you are acting like a jerk. Maybe if a lot of people are telling you this, you need to do some introspection. You need to look inside and wonder to yourself, why am I acting like this? Is this true? Am I really acting like a jerk? Can I do something to change this? Those would all be questions you might ask yourself if you were doing some introspection. Maybe you can see I'm back home right now for the next word, which is perspective. Perspective. And the definition for perspective is a way of looking at something. So my perspective on a subject might be different from your perspective on a subject. We've been talking a lot about Republicans and Democrats. Now they almost always have a different way looking at something or a different perspective. Let's take something like gun laws. Republicans will have the perspective that Americans should have guns. Democrats would have the perspective that gun laws should be limited. Not everyone should have a gun or everyone have the exact type of gun they want if it's more likely to kill someone. If you're having an argument with a friend, you're going to have one perspective while they have a different perspective. You're not going to see eye to eye. Eye to eye is a term we might use if two people have the same perspective. They agree with each other. They see things the same way. The next word is respect. Respect. Hopefully you have a lot of respect for your parents. Respect means that you honor them, that you think about them in a nice way. Let's take the American flag, for instance. A lot of people have a great deal of honor or respect for the flag. If you respect somebody, you think good things about them, you have a lot of honor. You might hear the term sometimes, respect your elders, meaning honor those who are older than you are. The next one is retrospect. And of course, we know spect means to look at something. Retro means back in time, looking back on something. We're almost at the end of 2020. And pretty soon you will see specials on 2020, a retrospective. So looking back at the year 2020 once 2020 is over. I'm sure the presidential election will be mentioned in that retrospective. I'm sure the coronavirus will be mentioned often in that retrospective. A lot of times, famous people who have died will be mentioned. Maybe you look back when you were a younger kid and you think, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I was so stupid. You could say, in retrospect, I shouldn't have done that. So retrospect is any time you look back into the past. Be careful of these next two words. First, I'm going to talk about spectacle, and then I'm going to talk about spectacles. I'm simply adding an S, but the two words are quite different. A spectacle is often something embarrassing. Your parents might say, oh, don't make a spectacle out of yourself. That means something that everyone wants to look at, and it's usually for a bad reason. Think about Karens these days.
They're playing. That's what the park is for.
I never saw a car in here before.
It's a Power Wheel car,
It doesn't
man.
bother me. What bothers me is you have a little kid in here that doesn't have a driver's license. He's just a little kid and you're not with him.
It's not a real car.
Women who are about my age always complaining about something. Maybe they're asking to see the manager about something. Karens often make a spectacle of themselves. They often appear on TikTok as a spectacle. Kind of an embarrassment, like, oh, how could she do that? Why is she always asking for the manager? Spectacle. You definitely don't want to make yourself out to be a spectacle. The next one is quite easy. Spectacles, when you add an S, becomes something you wear. A pair of glasses. Another way to say eyeglasses, oh wait, I'll be right back. I'll go get a pair of mine. Alright, I'm back with a pair of spectacles. Older people would probably say spectacles for eyeglasses or simply glasses. Now, sunglasses we would not call spectacles. Just the things that help you see. The next word is spectator. Simply someone who watches something. So at a football game or a soccer game, you might say, well now with COVID, there might not be that many spectators, but someone who watches a football game or a soccer game, you could simply call them a spectator. You might see them in the seats along the edge of the game, spectators. Next word is spectrum. And these are often colors or a wide range of objects that are somewhat related. So let's talk about colors first. A rainbow. That's a spectrum. A lot of different colors. They're very closely related. Maybe throughout the day you experience a wide spectrum of emotions. Maybe you wake up in a bad mood, and then you get angry, but by the end of the day, you're happy. So a spectrum of emotions is a wide range of different but somewhat related emotions. If you ever get a job where you're working with the public, maybe you're a server, a waiter, or a waitress in a restaurant, you will see a wide spectrum of people come in and eat there. You might see nice people, angry people, rich people, somewhat poor people, a wide spectrum of different types of people. And the last one is speculate. And often we use this like guess. To make a guess, you might speculate. So we have a presidential election coming up. Many people are speculating on who they think will win. You could speculate on what your life might be like in 10 years. You're guessing. You're making a prediction. Speculate is almost like the opposite of retrospect. Retrospect, you look back on something. Speculate, you could look forward into the future. I hope this little lesson on words that have the Latin and Greek root spect have helped you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.